Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome to the weekly SIG Compute meeting. I see that we don't have much of an agenda today, probably because of the end of year shutdown and because of the web freeze that is happening today. So I sent a link. I sent a mail in the KuberDev mailing list regarding guidelines on how to submit for an exception. So if you do need an exception, that's the time to submit for one. If you're not sure if you would need it, please ask for an exception. It's better to be safe than sorry. Um, yeah. And just before I jump to the open floor, that's the current status that we have for 1.8. So if your web here is under proposed for consideration or at risk, please raise our attention and beware that and ask for an exception if you need to. So I see. Okay, let's jump straight to the open floor. So Asif, how are you doing?
I am doing well. Right, I submitted. I hope I did it correctly. I submitted it through the Google group. It said that your request is pending approval. I'm not sure if it was received because I did see new exception requests popping up after I submitted mine. So I just wanted to double check that the exception requests I submitted did go through.
So yeah, if you send it to the KuberDev mailing list, it should be there. I can have a quick look for you, just a second. So it's for that. Hmm. I'm not sure that I see it in a mailing list, to be honest. Did you send it to the KuberDev mailing list?
Yes, and I remember when I submitted it, it said it was submitted and that it is pending review.
Is that the first time you've submitted to those mailing lists?
Yes, I also see it in my
Oh,
sent email list. This let me just confirm that the email that you send it to is the kubert-dev@googlegroups.com, right?
yep. Maybe because you're not an org member or something like that. I'm not sure. But it's
I know
yeah.
I've joined the cube the mailing list, and I am a org member on GitHub at least. Do you want me to try resend it?
Yeah, you can. And if you have any further problems with it, just let me know and I will send the exception for you. So, but yeah, great that you let us know.
I think
Okay, let me
Andrew
just send one right now.
proposed, and then it'll go through. And once it's approved, once you've got one in, then it will accept from there. But yeah, I would ping Andrew Bird and see if he can release the email for you.
Okay, if you'll send one right now, I can tell you if I see it or not. And either way, you can reach me out after the meeting and we'll take care of it.
I just sent one right now.
I don't see it yet. Okay, let's talk about it offline after the meeting, but we'll find a solution.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just had a short question since I saw today it's no longer tracked. I think that happened during Christmas. Um, I think there's updates for the web ask for, which I can do. Um, but it's considered for GA for 1.8, so I don't think there's too much changes needed here.
But did you I mean, was there any I mean, when you say that nothing would needed to be done, I mean, was there anything to actually bump the version to GA, or like a web update or something like
I
that?
haven't provided a PR yet to remove the feature gate and bump it to GA, but I didn't know that was needed before web freeze. I was planning to do that in like 2 weeks because next week I'm traveling.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that moving forward, there has to be like a web update in order to say I am targeting GA in different
Sorry, on my end, you're suddenly having like you faint. So there was just some static noise coming in and your voice going quieter.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I think that moving forward, this wasn't clear not to you only. So I think it's our problem. But I think that moving forward, we need to have a web update that says like I am targeting GA in this and that version. I have done everything that I wanted to do, like the requirements are filled and all of that, to be like an official stamp that the community agrees for it to be bumped to the next phase. Yeah, I don't think it's much of an issue, and it's also like you're not the only one to be confused by that.
Yeah, no. As long as I know that's not a problem, and to be honest, for me, I also don't need it to necessarily be GA for 1.8 if it's too late for that now. So 1.9 for GA, I think is fine as well with me.
Sure, and since I'm not too familiar with this web, like maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's fine just to send an exception, because if we would need a small web update, you would have the time to do so. But yeah, maybe others have different opinions.
Yeah. I mean, it only targets S390X, so users on other architectures won't notice it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have Vladek here, who's probably more familiar with this web. But
I'm
yeah,
here.
yeah.
My brain
Oh,
doesn't
Vladek.
work.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah, sorry, it's like I returned only today, so I'm not sure if my brain works. What I want to say is that I mean, in general, any change to a status, I mean, we need to update it on the web. When we started this, we agreed that this would be some kind of a living document where we would reflect what is the current status. So for each release, we need a new web PR to update what is actually going on. And then this is also kind of a declaration that hey, we are moving from alpha to beta, from beta to GA, and so on. If this is needed, we can grant an exception. But if you're saying that it's not needed for this release, then I don't know. Totally up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I will see if I have the time to do it in the section window either, since I'm traveling next week.
There's a real overload with the webs this cycle, so I don't know if it's if it can wait, it's better to wait. But if not, then just send the request.
Yeah, no, I think it can probably wait. All right, thank you. I was just confused, so my confusion is cleared. Thank you.
Thank you. I will probably need to document it better.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for raising that. I have like a to-do task in my head to improve documentation in the enhancement repo. But for sure, we can't like graduate silently. I mean, if we want to graduate from alpha to beta, from beta to GA, we must have some kind of a web update to declare that you want to graduate. It's not just the code change. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't clear. Yes, it.
Actually, no, that's a good point. So when you want to add like a big new feature, you open a web and it enters the feature enters alpha. But could you again clarify like more concretely when you want to move from alpha to beta or beta to GA, do you update that same web you created and merge, or what exactly is the process for that?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and this needs to be documented. But I guess that from alpha to beta, you would say something like, these were the requirements that we agreed on to graduate to beta. Here are the implementations that I did. Here's the change to, I don't know, I've changed something in the design. I've thought about another user story. I've written tests, whatever. And I think it's mature enough to graduate to beta. And then people review it as a design proposal right before actually moving to the code change, something like that. But you're right, it's not well documented. So even I'm not sure like what's the exact process is. But yeah, we should definitely standardize it before the next release.
So at what stage is the enhancement PR merged like into main? Is that once the feature graduates?
The enhancement merges, you mean?
Yes, like so you open a pull request, enhancement pull request, when is it merged?
So once it's merged, you have a document in the repo, right? And this document needs to be constantly updated. That's the source of truth for your the design of your feature. So let's say you implemented something, and during the implementation, you figure out, okay, the API that I thought about wasn't good enough. I want to change something. Then that's fine. But you have to do another PR for the web enhancement document and actually, document everything that was changed. So it's basically a living document that should be the source of truth for the actual state of the feature.
Okay, so but like once you have a alpha implementation, once you think of an alpha implementation and you get it approved and everything, you can still merge the web pull request. But if you want to change something, then you open a new pull request. Just want to clarify if I understood.
Yeah, exactly. You make another pull request to edit the same enhancement document.
Okay, sounds good.
Eddie?
Yeah, I just wanted to raise that in general, the reasoning of why you can move to beta is supposed to be in advance. Like when you created the web, you put there the criteria. So you could say, as you said, what you did. The only question mark that exists now, I think, is where you express that now I move to beta. So now I think the web itself, the template itself doesn't have. I don't remember, but I didn't see. The only thing that I see there that can change is the implementation history or something like that. But it doesn't have like a metadata at the beginning with the state. Maybe that's thing that we need to add. But I will not expect a lot. I mean, you could change the web itself with update it for the beta if you need to. But if you just want to move to beta, then I think the PR should just say why you think it's okay, and especially that it answered all the criteria, as you said. And maybe we should add in the template that status or state.
So if we're at the topic, I just want to show you guys how Kubernetes are doing it. Maybe we can follow them. So what they have is that under each enhancement, they have the README, which is basically very similar to ours, which is the actual design document. But they also have a cap.yaml file, and the cap.yaml file is like short YAML that actually like states the actual state. So there's like a milestone, alpha, beta, GA, and in Kubernetes, sometimes you don't have to change the enhancement proposal at all. So you go to this cap YAML and you just say, we're going to GA in the next version. That's it. And this PR has to be reviewed, right? I'm not sure if we need that because it's somewhat overlapping with the code, active Go file that we have, that in there we specify for each feature gate like what's the current state. So I don't know. Maybe we don't need that, but maybe we can have another entry in the proposal itself to say like what is the actual target version. I don't know. We can discuss that. But I do think
It
that
have.
during the
We have it. I think we have it. Like in the web, you'll see that you are supposed to specify the version. So that, but you usually specify like in advance what you want to have in what you think it will happen, and then what is actual. This is missing. So either you update anyway. What you said before I think is accurate. You need a PR to express that you want to move to beta. That makes sense. Like that is needed. What to update is currently I saw that there is history. Probably we should add the status like the YAML like what you saw here. But yeah.
Yeah, sure. I agree we need something. I'm not sure if we need a YAML or to use the same document file, but yeah, we can discuss that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at my web and there's no entry for target versions. Might also be because I think it was one of the first when we just opened the new process. But yeah, I need to add this now since you want CPR to update it in the document. So I'll make something up if you don't have a template.
Yeah, so we have this thing. So that's what I said. It's somewhat overlapping because in here we have the actual list of the states, and that's the actual source of truth in that sense. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll have to think of something. But in any case, I think we all agree that in the web review period, somebody has to say, I plan to move my feature, to graduate it to whatever. Not only at the implementation phase.
No, but this is a feature gate. At some point, this will disappear, right? But the document, it needs to say that it's completed or not.
Yeah, and also this comes later. It's not. This is the implementation, so it was already discussed. So if you are doing this, it was already proposed. So we need something earlier, and of course it cannot be the issue description because it's only up to the author, and there will not be any discussion there because I can write whatever. So yeah, probably we need to add something that can help us to keep track of what's going on for each web.
Yeah, good point. I think that I'll start the discussion in some way or another. But yeah, these are good points. Do we have anything else? Yes.
Okay, so about the point of the feature gate / active.go file being the source of truth for the state of that. Let's say that there's an existing feature that you want to make significant changes to, and you open a new web for it. Now, since you're modifying that same existing feature gate, maybe adding a new feature to it, like in my case, for example, I'm working on the testation for TDX, adding a testation support. Now, we already have a feature gate for TDX, and we're not planning on adding a new feature gate for attestation for TDX. Now, I don't think you can't really track different states for like alpha, beta, for attestation in TDX and like just normal TDX because they're both represented by the same feature gate. Did you get what I'm trying to ask? I'm not really stating it.
So I'm not familiar with this web specifically, but in general, I would say that in such a case, we do need two distinct feature gates. So you'd have the basic feature implementation, and then you have some kind of an extension on top of it. And we could treat it like a completely separate feature, right? This is very common in Kubernetes. Maybe the most extreme example is with DRA, that they have like, I just looked it up with Igor, it's like 40 open caps for DRA. And each one of them is a small extension to the core feature, but it's a separate cap either way. So yeah.
Separate cap or separate feature gate? They have only one feature gate for DRA, is that right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, I think, what this is trying to say is that, I mean, in general, we have one feature gate. And I like it that this is just one for this specific feature. But yeah, I mean, different VEPs for that could also make sense. But I just don't like the idea of having too many feature gates for just one this feature.
But if you are in an alpha or even in beta, right? And you are in the trial thing. You try stuff, so you can change them. It makes sense that you depend on that specific thing. I don't. Why would you want another flag? I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a
Yeah. In DLA, they have multiple feature gates, but I'm not aware how do they, sync between them.
But DRA is a huge beast. I mean, in general,
Yeah.
it's and these are like distinct functionalities.
But I'm missing why not to have two feature gates.
because I don't because you don't want to start now combinations of this feature gate with this feature gate, and what will happen, and is it okay, and what will I get? No, you are in alpha. Let's say that you are in alpha, which is easiest. You are supposed to change the feature per the feedback that you get, per what you learn. Try new things. You can keep it in alpha and advance it. And even if you go to beta, then you can say, okay, I missed something, so I'm adding this, but I'm not really sure. Things like that. I think, I mean, in beta it will be more. I will say it will be more questionable, but still, it feels like you are in the. You don't want to complicate things, and we are not Kubernetes after all here. We don't have the manpower, and we don't have the tooling, and we don't have the anything. It will just be very hard.
But in the case of TDX, I think it doesn't make sense to graduate the feature gate as long as we didn't complete everything we wanted to target with this feature. What do you think, Asif?
No, I think I agree that it's fine to couple, even though these are going to be two different webs. It's fine to couple them to one feature gate that later on when we graduate them together. In fact, we could just create a single web for whenever we want to graduate them both together because they are like very closely related.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with this approach. I think that it just brings a bigger burden on the web developer, because the idea is that during the alpha phase you can fool around and play with APIs and stuff like that. But when you go to beta, you're relatively mature and we don't expect huge changes, right? So if at the beta stage you decide, okay, let's add another extension, with a different API and everything, then either you go back to alpha or you have a separate web, right? You can't say I'm mature enough, but right now in beta I start, building a completely new feature on top of my feature gate and still be in beta, right? That's my problem with it.
I think that totally
again,
makes
I'm
sense.
not familiar. Yeah.
It totally makes sense that if you have one part of the a big feature, one part of the big feature, it's ready to either graduate or it's in beta, and then you're adding a new sub feature on top of it, then it totally makes sense to have a new feature gate so you can decouple their graduation stages. But in I guess in this particular case, they were both just recently added, and they're actually relatively small in terms of size.
Yeah, I agree with this. And I think, Itamar, exactly what you described happened with the VertiFS. So we just had one generic feature gate, and then we split the functionalities. It had two distinct feature gates, so then they could continue living their own lives separately. So I think it's a case by case. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. And I am not very familiar with this specific web, so yeah. Just general thoughts. Alrighty, anything else before we wrap up? Okay, everyone. So have a happy new year, and see you next week. Bye bye. See ya.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.